Another day blessed the school with the beautiful main character, YN, appearing to class to show her unearthly radiance. At the same time, it was ruined by Aizawa's entrance, behind her as well. She made her way at the back seat and placed a hand on her chin, watching the start of class. After the roll call, which is deemed unnecessary since all 21 chairs had been filled out, he opened his empty lesson plan and spoke. Nothing much for today, but all of you will try to improve your physical bodies in order to expand your use of quirk. That is all. He tiredly and quickly told the class. Now everyone, put on your PE uniforms, we'll be heading outside. After his announcement, everyone eventually stood and made their way out of the classroom. But what surprised everyone was her walking beside the explosive blonde. They thought that would be over when they separated for the changing rooms, but it wasn't really. The girl's behaviour once again caught her classmates' attention. "What the hell are you doing, you damn extra?" he asked her loudly. She flinched from the unexpected scream aimed to her face, eyeing the blonde as she tilted her head, confused. "You are quite a strong presence, but I didn't know your mouth is this strongly loud as well," she replied. Gasps were heard on all corners of their classmates. Some tired hardly to stop their laughter. And Bakugo, being Bakugo, wasn't the least bit pleased. "So what? Who cares about my mouth, and stop walking with me, bitch," he exclaimed, now stomping with both hands in his pocket. "How rude. I've never met anyone as loud as you, except that coward of a commander." "Did you just compare me to a coward?" Well, that was quick. YN thought as she rolled her eyes. "No," she replied tiredly. "Chill now, Bakugo. You shouldn't be that rude." Now Kirishima paced with them, placing the girl in between both men as they walked. "Oh, look at this turn of events. You actually have a friend." The girl patted Bakugo pitifully. "Shut up, sailing bitch. Shut up, shitty hair," he roared at both. YN and Kirishima now looked at each other, then back to the pouting ball of grenade. She gave a shorty, empty chuckle, placing an arm to Bakugo's slouched shoulders and pulling him closer. "Look, I know it's hard to accept that this stranger is walking with you, but worry not, for we'll be knowing each other for the day," she explained. "Fucker, get your damn hands off of me." He tried shaking her off, but was futile and only caused him to have his neck coiled around her even more. His posture now lower but even more closer to her, making a couple few students envious of that affectionate closeness from the newcomer. But why? "Oh, you're quite a lively pup. It's very amusing," she sighed. "Look, I have a new assignment, and you're the first one on my list," she explained. "Wait, what?" Kirishima asked, confused. "I'm ordered to get along with everyone, and to fulfill that, I will accompany each or groups within 24 hours, or probably just until evening," she said. "Cool. Then you'd be around Bakugo for the day?" Kirishima asked, signs of excitement written on his face. "Correct," she said. "If you fucking want to get along, then stay away and don't bother me," Bakugo explained, hoping to remove her strong arm that was around his neck. She gave a little chuckle, messing the spiky blonde's hair. "That would be really good too, but you're quite interesting, lad. So I refuse to accept your wild suggestion," she replied. "Wait, if you're hanging out with every one of us, doesn't that mean you'll also have to hang out with Bnha?" Mina suddenly asked. The girl blinked twice. "Yes, I believe. Bnha's schedule is next day tomorrow," she replied. "What?" The class looked at her in pure shock. The mentioned grapehead smiled smugly, Amateurs. Looks like I'm part of the top 3 he wants to meet. He arrogantly boasted. I don't really know what you mean, but yes, you're on the 3rd day, she says nonchalantly, having to see the terrified and worried expression of their classmates. Oh well, for now I will spend some time with you, Blondie. She gave him a friendly smile, which he returned back with a scowl. Reaching the said gym, the students began to do some physical tests, just like how they did on the first quirk assessment test they had the very first day of school. YN, who simply tailed around Bakugo, did his own workout. Running laps around the field was the first thing he regrets doing. He started running, letting her follow behind while she engaged with a conversation with him. So, Blondie, what's your quirk? She asked, finally pacing speed to his side. None of your business, ceiling bitch. Bakugo responded as he tried to make his speed faster. She was effortlessly pacing. How about your hobbies? Probably to kill you when I get the chance, the irritated blonde replied. She deadpanned. You are very ambitious, young man. Killing me is quite hard. Shut up. Bakugo continuously ran the laps, feeling the sweat already soaking his uniform, hardly catching his breath and wanting to collapse. He was dead tired, but why the hell does this woman not look phased at all? Hey, you two. You've been running around for 30 minutes. Stop and rest. You're making me tired than how I already was, Kaminari complained, shouting to the two who was still running around the field. The class began to notice this as well, stopping and settling their gaze on the two. Mina and Ochako and Hagakure cheered for YN happily. Go YN! The girls exclaimed. The girl could only chuckle. You look tired, Blondie. You shouldn't force yourself, she advised, seeing as the male she's pacing her speed with was looking like he'd die from exhaustion. Huh? Look at yourself, ceiling bitch, Katsuki exclaimed back, but almost like a wheeze that irritated him. She tapped his back with a sigh. I'm more experienced in running miles than you, so obviously I can run the whole day, she said. Damn it, then stop following me and go run the whole fucking day. She could tell how tired he was, how his breath became unstable and his pace getting slower again. She shook her head in dismay, pulling his arm and throwing him off into the ground with a high 360 in the air before slamming his back to the dust. That's where he ended up catching his breath. Damn it! What the hell's wrong with you? He asked, feeling all muscles relaxed that led him unable to stand back up, still catching his breath. She sat cross-legged next to him, the hands on both sides of her knees while she eyed him. If you didn't stop, I'd be carrying you to the clinic like a bride, since you'll actually pass out, she explained. I could feel your muscles fatigue and I could tell you're at your limit, and as someone who will be tailing you for a day, I'll have to keep you conscious. Too tired to respond despite how angry he was, he decided to just place his forearm on his forehead while catching his breath. To think that she could actually overpower him like this isn't something that will please him. So, in conclusion, I suggest you stop running and ask me to teach you combat. Isn't that a win-win? She told him, clasping both hands together. Why would I ask someone like an extra bitch? He tiredly taunted. She sighed. Even tired, his mouth spits poison. Well, let's be honest. I am stronger than you, I have more combat experience than you, and you're as weak as a little boy. She pointed sheepishly. You? Bakugo's threatening voice ran into her ears, making her turn to him as the blonde stood up glaring at her. Stand up and fight me. I'll show it to your damn face who you're looking down upon. His palms began to spark as his fingers twitched. She sighed. Well then, if you win, guess I'll leave you alone. She stood up to prepare herself as well. The male gave her a smug look. Just the way I like it, he says, charging towards her with his fist open to unleash his explosion. Die! He exclaimed, almost an inch away from her body, but then before it gave out a large explosion, a hand grabbed his wrist just as quick, and once again, he was flipped into the ground. However, not planning to let her off, he used his other palm and directed it to her face, which she evaded, only to cause her damage to her right shoulder before letting go of the boy's wrist. What do you say to that now, damn extra? Bakugo stopped when he saw she was standing in front of him. Her right shoulder was completely unharmed because of some blue crystal coating her skin, crawling up to her neck until her cheek. Her uniform was burnt, however, which left her half body exposed, only being covered up by the spare of her sports bra. Oh, don't think it's over like that, Blondie. YN gave back a nonchalant reply. The crystal skin began to fall off as she charged towards him next. Bakugo prepared himself as well as they continued the spar. She was simply giving him half-assed kicks, trying to test his own battle aptitude, and left her a very low impression with his expression. When she saw his miscalculation once more, she pulled another trick she learned from Annie, using her opponent's strength to defeat him. That was now led to the current scenario. Both on the ground, while Bakugo was struggling from getting off her powerful lock. You're actually smart, but lack a lot of experience, she murmured into his ears, almost like a whisper. Her breath and closeness to his body was giving his stomach a wild churn and awkwardness. Damn it, get off me! He tried to writhe her off, but the attempt was useless. She hardened her firm hold. Come on, Blondie, say you give up and we're done, she suggested. Fuck, like hell I would. Then, if I release you now, it's my win and you can't do anything about it. Fine, damn it. The distressed male gave in. For God's sake, she's too close for any man's comfort, and for the love of every human being, she's half naked. Great! She lets the lock go and stood up first, lending him a helping hand that he slapped off. Pride matters. As he stood up himself and started walking back. Of course, she followed behind him, hands on her back. Don't worry, it's not your fault, she assured him, tapping his shoulder. Shut up. I don't need you to console me with an insult. He grunted. Still, it's really not your fault that you're weak. For being honest, you should be happy that you are. What the hell? If you're here to insult me for being weak... He paused from his screams again when he turned to her. Her head was slouched, which made her hair cover her face. But he could tell that she was somehow crying. It made him realize her words. It probably has deeper meaning to it, carved deeply behind her strength. Don't cry, damn it. You're the one who won. She flinched from hearing him say that, quickly wiping her face before she looked up at him wide-eyed. But there were no tears. I wasn't, she quickly denied, but the sides of her eyes indicated otherwise. Bakugo clicked his tongue, hands on his uniform pocket as he quickened his pace towards the others. Reaching them, the girl was suddenly surrounded by her female companions, especially enveloped in Mina's arms. YN, my honey bunny, you're so awesome, the pink lady praised. That's... thanks. She smiled. Damn it, Bakugo, I'm so jealous, Kaminari says, with a tired sigh. You get to be cuddled by YN's soft, smooth skin. Hearing the boys complain, the boys gasp. The angry blonde looked at the other blonde with his crimson glare. Shut up, dunce face, he exclaimed, hiding the fact that he himself was embarrassed as well. I wish you could do that to me next time. The small perverted grape drooled, daydreaming for the day he'll be able to hold her in his arms. Oh, heavens are on my side, he happily chanted. Yo, how about we tie Mineta up to his house for the next 48 hours, so he won't get to lay a hand on YN? Kaminari asked, placing an arm around Kirishima. Sounds like a plan. Kaminari fist-bumped with Kirishima as they went around to spread the word of their plan to the other boys and girls. Nobody's allowed to touch my YN except me, Mina exclaimed, hugging her even tighter. I'll die choking, Mina. The girl tapped Mina's arm. Mina quickly lets go and smiles apologetically, while the latter covered her body with her arms. Although not enough to cover everything, but it felt extremely awkward now that Mina's arms weren't covering her. Please, have this. Todoroki stretched his arm, handing her his own uniform, somehow thankful that he was wearing his white shirt inside. The girl accepted that, quickly putting it on over her with a sigh of relief. But it was a bigger size, that when someone looked at her, she looked smaller than she already was. Thanks a lot, Shoto. She gratefully smiled at him. Again, sighs of envy from others who weren't fast enough to remove their uniform first for her was heard. Please, take care of it, the boy nonchalantly replied. Sure. I'm sure the blondie won't use his explosions to me anymore, so do not fret, she assured. Oh my god, YN, you look so cute even with that uniform. Please marry me now, Mina exclaimed, planning to pound her with a hug again. But she quickly evaded. Aw, you don't want me anymore? The girl sighed. Please don't, she muttered tiredly, letting out a weak laugh. Mina reminded her about how Ymir would say that to Krista